All right, there's no pleasantries today. No, I am aggravated here at the Steve Loaf Show today. This isn't a scheduled podcast. This is something that I just felt that I wanted to say, and that's when you know it's really going to be good because it's emotionally passionate. And right now, I'll tell you up front, I don't know how far I'm going to carry this. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't script anything. I may say naughty words, which generally there are a few thrown into every podcast because that's the way I talk. I don't fluff it up and make things pretty. But I don't know really how emotionally compromised I am with this that I can use restraint. But I'm going to talk about the border wall. And it's tweaked me more than normal because now Congress is doing its thing. They've assembled the new team Anti-America is in place now. And it's already started. Of course, we're in the middle of the shutdown right now as this podcast is being recorded. And Trump is so far standing his ground. And I'm glad. But I've had enough of arguing with people. I've had enough of these people and the congressmen that are just touting their bullshit. Pelosi and Schumer and the disingenuous horseshit. The people out there in America who oppose the wall, who are also equally disingenuous, hypocritical, bullshitting douchebags there. That's the word I want to use. And I say this, I don't normally go to a personal attack with people just for having a contrary viewpoint. That's not enough. To disagree with my politics is fine. If you see things a different way, that's fine. But that's not where we're at right now. It's not simple disagreement. It's people right now that are going through mental gymnastics, and they're coming up with complete bullshit rationale for being against something when they can't argue that they're truly against it in the first place. And it trickles down to the fact that the only reason they're against this whole thing is because somebody they hate, Donald Trump, is for it. And to spite everybody in the country, national security, personal safety, the safety of kids, crime, all the things that come with this immigration issue that we have, they're willing to compromise all of that so that they can win an argument with somebody that they cannot stand the idea of losing that argument to. And that's where we're at with this. And I've argued with every one of these people. Now follow me on this. You are a liberal who is against this wall. Ask the liberals why. Right now their thing is that the immigrants, we'll call them immigrants. I will call them illegals in my own private whatever because that's how I see it. But for the sake of arguing with a snowflake, we will say that they're immigrants. And they will tell you that these people are only here to help America, and they're here because they're in need, and they're here because they're desperate, and they're going to produce. They're going to work. They're going to, quote, unquote, play by the rules and etc. Okay, I have no problem with those people. Donald Trump has said many times he has no problem with those people. And guess what? We have an immigration system which allows those people in. We vet to make sure that those people come in the country. That's what the immigration system is. That's what the whole concept of immigration law and the agencies that are in place and the job that they do and the vetting process, that's what it's for. So that those people that really want to work, that really aren't criminals, that really aren't drug runners, that really aren't human traffickers, those are the people that get in. So we aren't discriminating against those people. We already let them in. So my question to the liberals who want to play both sides of the fence and say, I'm against the wall, I'm for immigration. I'm for legal immigration, yes. I'm for border security, yes, but no wall. My question to you is, if you really are for our immigration system, then where is your problem with a wall? If a wall is built and these people who are only here to play by the rules, every time I say that, just picture the air quotes. If those people that are genuinely here to make a better life for them and their families and leave an oppressed place for the betterment of America and are going to come into this country, make an effort, be productive, get their driver's licenses and all the things that you do yourself, stand in line like everybody else, work hard like everybody else, wait for your tax refund like everybody else and all of that, draw Social Security and die old like the rest of we who do that. My question is, if those are the people that are coming into the country and they're the ethical, play-by-the-rules people, then where is your problem with them walking in through a legitimate entrance, a port, doing the proper process and filling out the paper because they're just good people? Where is the problem? If they're good, genuine, hard-working people with no criminal records, no malice to the country, a desire to learn and improve this country, where is the problem with them taking the test and going through the process? Where's the problem? What is your issue with it? What is your issue with them coming through selective places and doing that if those are the people? If you don't want everybody in, if you only want certain people, because this is how I want you to picture it, because we always have to have a metaphor. Steve Loaf Show is always about analogies and metaphors. That's what we do. Your home, you and your family, I'm talking to liberals, you have your apartment, maybe you get your studio apartment in Seattle, where you smoke your dope at night and you sleep until noontime, and then you go out and you hit the microbrew places at like 5 o'clock for happy hour. And you're doing your pseudo-productive life out there. Maybe you grab a Starbucks at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the afternoon to kickstart your day. You're at home, your apartment. I'll even let you have a home. How's that? I'll let you say that you're one of the successful ones that went out there. You're Silicon Valley material or something, whatever. You're a liberal who's actually achieved you've got the mortgage and you've actually achieved that end of it. How's that? We'll bump it up. Your domicile, be it a home with a house and a foundation, or that third room apartment, where you play your guitar and smoke your dope. Either or. Do you leave your door open? I know I'm drawing an analogy to there's a fence around everybody's house in Washington, but I am. Bear with me. Do you leave your door open because in your city there are homeless people who would like to have shelter, who are decent, nice people? They're good people. They don't mean any harm. They're not criminals. They're just good people who had a rough go of it, and they need a place to go. You, liberal, who has a warm room, all the trappings, a comfortable place to lay down, without newspapers, that has blankets, with a thermostat that you can go up and down and make it warm and cold. Why don't you leave your door open so that those good, play-by-the-rules, homeless, nice people who just had a bad go of it and don't mean anybody any harm can just come in and lay down Why don't you do that? Why don't you show us by example? Because after all, if you leave your door unlocked, Mr. Seattle, Mr. Hipster, nobody's going to come in and steal anything from you. Oh, I know what they'll say. Oh, no, right-wingers will come in. Republicans will steal our stuff. That's what. No, seriously, though. No one's going to come in. No one's going to come in and steal your stuff if you just leave the door open. Only good people come in. Only good people on the honor system will come into your house and lay down, maybe use your couch for the night just because they're cold. Maybe they'll just grab a snack. They won't take a lot of stuff. They're not going to steal your booze or anything. They're just legitimate, nice, hungry people, and they're going to go to your refrigerator, and they're just going to get themselves a drink, maybe some apple juice. Maybe what do you hipsters drink? I don't know nowadays. Maybe they'll go to the latte machine on the cupboard and they'll just make one latte. They won't steal all of them. How's that? I don't know. I don't drink that coffee shit. I don't know. I don't know how to make it. I don't know what it is. All I know is that it's at Starbucks and there's hipsters at Starbucks and I don't go there. That's all I know. Not because it's hipsters, but because I don't like coffee. But anyway, why don't you do that? Lead by example. Put a little note on the refrigerator. This is for you. Help yourself to the china. Glasses are in the cupboard. Chips are in the upper cupboard. All I ask is you put the chip clip back on it because I don't want my chips stale, but have a few potato chips while you're at it or whatever. Make yourself something nice. Just leave it at that. Why don't you do that? Well, I'm going to tell you why you don't. I don't have to tell you why you don't do that, do I? Because you know that not everybody is decent. Not everybody is trustworthy. And not everybody who would see an open door as an invitation to shelter is going to treat it as shelter. They're going to take it as an open door to abuse. And they're going to come in. Leave a big old turd in your toilet without flushing it. Drink your booze. Steal your shit. Rummage through your drawers. And they're going to leave. That's what's going to happen. And they're going to go off to the next person who so openly thinks that that's the way of the world. And they're going to loot them as well. And you know this is a fact. You people, look, if you're not for a system in this country that is not, that indiscriminately stops the flow of people until they can be vetted to make sure they're good people, then don't lock your door, don't lock your car. I don't want to see one Prius being locked in a parking lot of a Starbucks with a bumper sticker on the back that says that you are for open borders or against the Trump wall. Take your fucking keys, leave your door unlocked, put the keys in the ignition, and you walk away. And you take your chances, because that's what you want the rest of us in this country to do. You want us to take our chances. For the handful that are good, you want us to accept the handfuls that are bad. Because that's just the lot of it. Because we'd rather have a handful of people murdered and be able to have some kind of a personal statement that we feel good about, that we can say that this country is free and open to everybody. So for your bumper sticker, you want to take the chance on the lives of people who are dying, who have been proven to have been killed by those who enter the country illegally. I want you to look in the grieving faces of families. The police officer that was just shot recently. I want you to look at those people and say, because you find a wall and you find what it says about the country and you say that it shows hate, I want you to tell those people all about hate. Explain it to them. Explain how hate works. Explain to people who are at a funeral for somebody who's killed by an illegal how hatred works. Explain that. I'm sure they would really be enlightened to hear your take on what being hated, and the outcome of it is. You know what the outcome of it is to you, liberal? Your version of hatred is a guilty conscience because somebody over in France might be writing an op-ed in their local newspaper about the United States, and you just can't bear that. Yeah, that's a real burden to carry, isn't it? I feel bad for you and your poor guilty conscience of what a shitty country you live in, what a wall is saying about you as a citizen in the country. Yeah, I feel bad about the amount of hate that you have to deal with under that scenario. I really do. Tell that to somebody who was run over by an illegal who didn't have a driver's license, who never had one, who can't operate a vehicle, or who didn't even own the vehicle that they had because it was stolen. Oh, but that never happens. Or Steve, out of all the goodness that happens, that's 1 in a million. First of all, it isn't. But my question for you is, are you willing to accept 1 in a million if a wall stops it? Because that's where we're at with this. We're at playing numbers games. We're at playing demographics, and we're spreadsheets now. We're at ticky-tack things where we have to pretend that the cost of the wall matters to you. The cost of the wall, that is a laugh in itself. When you talk about $5 billion in the budget of the United States of America as even being costs, and I don't care if it's $10 billion, because I'm not putting billions, I'm not going to put a price on a human life. If that's what you want to do, you go ahead. I'm not putting the price on that policeman's life that just died. I'm sure his family, if they could raise $5 billion, would take and they would pay whoever could bring him back to life $5 billion. I know there are people in my family I would certainly, if I had $5 billion, I would give the money to see them alive right now. For any reason, be it old age or whatever. I would bring my parents back in a heartbeat at the cost of $5 billion. So a wall? Okay, whatever. If that's the price you put on human life is $5 billion, then, I hate to tell you, you're a scumbag. But let's just look at the cost of $5 billion as it relates to other things that this country spends money on. An aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, $13 billion. It overran $2.5 billion. Half of the wall could be built just in the overrun for the aircraft carrier Gerald Ford. Now, I'm not against aircraft carriers. I wish we had 40 more of the damn things. Don't get me wrong. I'm just comparing what we spend for money on defense of this country. B-2 stealth bomber, we all know what that cost because there was a big outrage about those when they were being built. $2 billion. $2 billion. For less than the cost of 3 stealth bombers, we would build a wall for the United States of America. So, no, Nancy Pelosi, I'm not going to buy into your money and your fiscal desires to help the people of America out by spending money needlessly on a wall. Parentheses, which doesn't work. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, too. The cost of the troops, $72 million so far has been spent in the troops, in the National Guard and other military, to patrol the border of the United States. Since this little deal with the caravan has started, that $72 million has been spent so far. They're looking at $210 million under the current plan, I believe, into April. At least according to this article. I'm sure you can go to NPR and find it that the troops are just doing it for gift certificates to Arby's, and we really don't pay the troops. I'm sure you can spin it however you want. Go find me your alternate news. By the way, the budget for the Pentagon, this is the Pentagon. This isn't building bridges to nowhere, infrastructure, plans for schools, all the other shit that we put out there in social programs. This is just the defense budget last year for the Pentagon, $700 billion. So, guess we're spending a little bit of money out there. I wouldn't say, now, don't get me wrong, if somebody handed me $5,000, it's a lot of money. If they hand me $50,000, I'd jump for joy, maybe even kiss them on the mouth. So I'm not saying $5 billion is nothing. But when there are people out there like Oprah Winfrey who personally themselves have that kind of money, and you're looking at the country of the United States with 400 billion people in it, million people, excuse me. That's right, Steve. I know. The population of the earth, we're only at the 7 billion mark now, I think. 6.5, whatever. It was a slip up. Sorry in my tirade. I don't write down all the facts and figures, but I do have these ones here available. And the budget of the United States, and when you do look at the personal wealth of individuals who have billions of dollars, and then you look at somebody like Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer, who are touting that America can't afford $5 billion. And as I promised, I was going to talk about the wall itself. The wall as it pertains to not working. All right. Walls. First of all, we know they work. It's not stupid. Will they stop everything? No, they won't. Will anything stop anything else? No, they won't. People escape from Alcatraz. Do we stop building prisons because prisons don't totally work? Seriously. Firemen don't put out all fires. They don't get all of them. Do we stop funding fire departments because fire departments don't 100% work? Policemen don't 100% catch all criminals, so we don't need cops anymore. Seriously, people run streetlights. They run stoplights. Should we stop putting up stoplights because stoplights do not stop 100% of all cars from running through intersections? They don't stop accidents, obviously. If your argument is that you aren't going to build a wall because it isn't 100% effective, then you need to fucking show me something in this country that is 100% effective. Nothing isn't one. The only thing I can guarantee is that water is 100% effective in getting you wet. Unless it's frozen. I guess I even shot my own argument down right there. But we'll pretend that ice and water are different. Some roofs leak. Not everything is 100% effective, but if anything in your life, the putting on of a seatbelt increases the chances a little bit, you do it. You buckle your kids in? Why? Seatbelts aren't 100% effective. That's just the way it is. So this stupid argument that we have, when we know that a wall works a lot more than no wall at all. Are you looking for bang for your buck? Do you feel like $5 billion should buy you a 98% effective wall when it's only going to be 96? Is that what we're up against? We're stupid little arguments like that. That's where we're at on this. We're at with stupid little arguments by people who just want to be nitpicky because they can't admit that the real problem that they have is that they are against the policy of a president that they don't like. And if that president scores a win, they can't take it. And by not taking it, they are willing to sacrifice the safety, security, and in many cases, the lives of people. No, not everybody that comes over the border of this country is going to kill somebody or sell drugs or human traffic. Not everybody that comes up to an intersection is going to drive through the stoplight. Some people would. It's just the way that it is. You don't take the chance with people that aren't of the same mindset that you are. The world has criminals. The world has people, no matter how many nice bumper stickers you put on your car, they will jack you out of that car. They will take a gun, point it to your head, and say, "Give me the car," and drive off. And you can watch your coexist bumper sticker fade over into the hill. That's just the way of the world. Some dogs bite. Do you trust everything in the world? No. Your doors lock. You lock your cars. Some of you carry spray. You women carry pepper sprays and things, because you don't want to take chances. Why don't you? I mean, not everybody's bad. Why are you carrying that? I mean, what's the issue? Aren't you trusting? Do you know what kind of a message it sends when you carry that pepper spray around? What kind of hatred is that? What kind of mistrust of other people is that? That's where we're at. It's the same argument. And don't tell me it isn't, because it is. It's the same exact argument. If Donald Trump came out tomorrow and said that he wanted all women to carry pepper spray, half of you would throw it in the garbage just to be contrary to it, to spite yourselves and your own safety. That's where we're at with this argument. That's why I dislike the people who are contrary to the wall being built, because they aren't genuine in their argument. I know 100% if Obama had come on television and had said 10 years ago, when he was first running, when everybody was in a fury, hope and change and everything, because Obama did, the sound bites are there, the videos are there, you people can't deny it. Oh my God, in a world we live at where we can all find those things and post them. Doesn't that suck? Doesn't that suck that Schumer, Bill Clinton, Obama, Hillary, they can have their own words used against them and things that they stood for that are now the same things that Trump is saying, but now because you dislike the man, you're going to take the whole premise and throw it out the window. But I guarantee you people back in 2009 when Obama was doing hope and change, you're going to do it. We need a wall. Everybody would be going, wall, yeah, Obama, making us safe, best president ever. That wall would already be built. And don't tell me that Obama wouldn't do it, because Obama talked about those very same things. There are the videos out there to prove it. So what we're up against now is we're up against petty people with petty attacks on a man that they dislike, and they don't want him to win, to spite themselves and the people of this country. I don't care if you have legitimate arguments for something. You be contrary to me all day long. But when the whole premise and your whole viable reason for disliking something is because you dislike the man that wants it first, that's high school. Well, actually, not high school. It's grade school. That's grade school shit. It's when you love the color red, but Sally, who you don't like, you hate Sally. And Sally buys a nice new red dress, and she comes in so you don't ever wear red again because Sally wears red and you hate that. But that was your favorite color. Yeah, but Sally wears it. I don't like red anymore. That's what you're doing. You're a bunch of children. That's all I have to say. I have no eloquent way of even ending this podcast except the pretty music. Hit it, Johnny.